We'll have the details. Then Rick Santorum swept yesterday's primary results in 3 different states. And in sports, the VU Trailblazers pick up their biggest win of the season. This is News Center 22.
Local news, weather, and sports, produced through the combined efforts of the students, staff, and faculty of Vincennes University's electronic media program. This is News Center 22.
Hundreds of new jobs will soon be added to Toyota's Gibson County plant. Good evening to you. For News Center 22, I'm Jesse Gwynn. Officials with Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Indiana made the announcement today that they are increasing production of the Highlander midsize SUV. The production increase will bring 400 new jobs to the plant in late 2013. Toyota is investing $400 million into the production expansion. Last month, the Gibson County plant celebrated the production of its 3 millionth vehicle since opening in 1998. TMMI currently employs 4,100 permanent employees and another 700 full-time employees through variable workforce. Next week's court date concerning the Vincennes Executive Inn has once again been postponed. The third attorney for the owners of the hotel was granted a new court date in December to give him more time to review the case, but the Vincennes Sun-Commercial reports that attorney Robert Rock has now asked for even more time. Owners of the Executive Inn have planned to appeal the Vincennes Building Safety Commission's order to have their hotel torn down. The court date was set for next week, but has now been moved to April 27th. The paper reports City Attorney Dave Rolligan issued a response Monday to the owner's request for appeal, arguing the request should have been filed a year ago when the Building Safety Commission gave the owners, James and Mark Valdez, a year to make additional repairs. Rolligan said it's his legal interpretation that the commission, in a sense, upheld the city's demolition order, which was originally issued in November of 2010, giving the Valdezes almost a full year to prove they could bring the hotel up to code. Rolligan called the appeal too little, too soon. A proposed rezoning for new Bicknell business has been put on hold for at least another month. Members of the Knox County Area Plan Commission last night tabled a request from city officials seeking a recommendation on rezoning property to build a new Dollar General store off Highway 67. Planning Commission member Dick Vermillion says a portion of the property has yet to be annexed to the city. He says annexation could come before the rezoning. Bicknell Mayor John Flickinger says a public hearing on the annexation is scheduled for March 5th. Flickinger says the new store will have enormous benefits for the city.
And they'll be drawing from Westphalia, Freelandville, Sanborn, Ebersport, Wheatland, Bruceville. They'll be drawing from all around because right now the people of Bicknell are calling Dollar General store now our shopping center. Because a lot of people go out there. But I just think it'll really be an asset to the city.
Developer Kirk Rafferty says the new store will feature a larger selection of grocery and dairy and frozen items in addition to carrying fresh produce. The Area Plan Commission will meet March 6th to consider the city's request. State police make 2 arrests in a January armed robbery case. 2 Pike County men have been charged in the January 29th robbery of the Blue Beacon truck wash in Gibson County. State police arrested Larry Nathaniel Davis and Brandon Joe Walburn, both 26 and both of Petersburg, last night without incident. Detectives say the 2 were charged after it was determined that Walburn drove the vehicle to the business and waited while Davis allegedly confronted the employees, displayed a pistol, and demanded money. Both were being held in the Gibson County Jail. A routine traffic stop in Vincennes Tuesday netted over 60 grams of pot and cash. Around 11:30 a.m., an Indiana State Trooper stopped a car for an improper lane turn at 9th and College Avenue. While conducting the traffic stop, the trooper became suspicious that illegal drug activity was occurring. A search of the vehicle revealed over 60 grams of marijuana and nearly $700 in cash. 2 of the car's occupants, 18-year-old Cole Walls of Terre Haute and 21-year-old Trevor Humes of Anderson, were arrested and charged with dealing marijuana over 30 grams. They were taken to the Knox County Jail. Police say the 18-year-old female driver was not arrested. If you were lucky enough to attend Super Bowl events in downtown Indianapolis this last week, you may need to see a doctor. The Indiana State Department of Health says an unknown number of people were exposed to the measles at the Super Bowl Village. Officials say a person infected with measles visited the village sometime last week. So far, there are 2 confirmed cases of measles in Indiana. Measles is not usually fatal, but can cause high fever, cough, and a rash on the face and neck. Most Americans are vaccinated for measles as children. And still to come on News Center 22, Rick Santorum is hoping to pick up momentum in the Republican presidential campaign after sweeping 3 states yesterday. We'll explain. And then we'll take a look at the crisis in Syria and how the U.S. could possibly intervene. That's when we return. Stay with us.
It's a film festival in your living room.
When someone asks me about violence, what it means is that the person who's asking that question has absolutely no idea what black people have experienced in this country.
When you get tired enough is when you want to sacrifice everything.
Newly uncovered footage of the Black Power movement challenges our assumptions. See the people behind the movement for who they are. The Black Power Mixtape.
To hear even the cry, and as sure as the sun does shine, I'm getting emotional. What's mine? And then the harder they go, the harder they fall. One and all. Do you know this song? Sing along. They say the harder they come, the harder they fall. One and all.
Rick Santorum is back in the spotlight after a handful of contests yesterday in the Republican race for president. Greg Black has more on how those results are reshaping the race.
It was a big night for Rick Santorum. The Republican presidential candidate first claimed victory in the Missouri primary and Minnesota caucuses.
Tonight was not just a victory for us, but tonight was a victory for the voices of our party. Conservatives and Tea Party people.
Then, to cap it all off, Colorado's Republican Party chairman announced that he'd narrowly beaten frontrunner Mitt Romney in that state's primary.
The Colorado Republican Party is prepared to announce that Rick Santorum has won Colorado's Republican preference poll.
The announcement gave Santorum a 3-state sweep in yesterday's nominating contest.
This was a good night for Rick Santorum. Want to congratulate Senator Santorum. Wish him the very best. We'll keep on campaigning down the road, but I expect to become our nominee with your help.
Romney had been on a 2-state winning streak after the Florida primary and Nevada caucuses, while Santorum hadn't scored a victory since the Iowa caucuses a month ago. He's now hoping last night's results will give him some fresh momentum for the contest ahead. I'm Greg Black reporting.
The Missouri contest will not earn any of the candidates any delegates. The state will hold a caucus next month for that purpose, and even with last night's expected wins, Santorum will still trail Romney in the overall delegate count. Getting through customs in the U.S. may soon be a little easier. The Department of Homeland Security says it's making its Global Entry pilot program permanent. Global Entry is an identification verification system that expedites the customs process for pre-approved low-risk travelers who are U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. Members simply swipe their passports or permanent resident cards at a kiosk, provide digital fingerprints, and answer customs questions. They then hand a receipt to a customs officer and go on their way. The program is already available at 20 U.S. airports. While the U.S. says it remains committed to solving the crisis in Syria diplomatically, senior Obama administration officials tell CNN the Pentagon has begun an internal review of U.S. military capabilities in the region. This is a standard move by top military brass. The review would give President Obama the options available if he calls for them. Jill Doherty takes a look at other options.
Men, women, and children are being slaughtered in Syria. Everyone agrees it has to stop. But how?
We should start considering all options, including arming the opposition. The bloodletting has got to stop.
We don't think more arms into Syria is the right answer.
Last year in Libya, NATO launched an air campaign that saved lives and cleared the way to ending the Gaddafi regime. Would that work in Syria?
This is a very different playing field, very different set of players, very different set of possible consequences.
NATO's former Supreme Allied Commander, General George Jolwin, says unless the U.S. wants to go it alone, you need political agreement with other countries, and that hasn't happened yet. If the world community did come together, could you have a Libyan-style campaign?
First of all, Syria is much different than Libya. You have to understand that. It's much more populated. There was a lot of desert in Libya, wide open spaces. There's a huge population in Syria. They have better defenses. They have better air defense systems. They have more and modern tanks. So it's going to take a much different sort of strategy than what occurred in Libya.
Then there's the neighborhood. Turkey, Lebanon, Iraq, Israel.
You have population areas in Syria that you didn't have in Libya. You had a few large towns, much more difficult. And if you're going to carry out a bombing campaign, what would that do to possible civilian casualties?
Could you create safe havens, humanitarian corridors? We asked the State Department.
Some of these proposals that people are brooding about could not be done without foreign military intervention.
Walmart is rolling out a new healthy seal. The retail giant says look for its new Great For You icon. Will make it easier for customers to make better food choices. Look for it this spring on the retailer's own store brands. Critics are skeptical whether these new labels will really make a difference, though. It didn't take long for Beyonce to slip back into her sleek dresses and sky-high heels. We'll have the first pictures of her out on the town since delivering her little girl. Plus, Madonna announces a huge world tour. Michelle Wright has your entertainment headlines in this Hollywood Minute.
Beyonce was out for a night on the town in New York 1 month after delivering daughter Blue Ivy. She attended husband Jay-Z's concert at Carnegie Hall. His performance benefited the United Way of New York City and the Sean Carter Foundation. Along with his 10-piece band, Jay-Z was accompanied by a 36-piece orchestra. Fresh off her Super Bowl halftime performance, Madonna is getting ready to hit the road. The singer's 2012 world tour kicks off in May in Tel Aviv, Israel. Billboard reports Madonna will log close to 90 stops, the most she's ever made on one tour. Madonna's last concert series in 2008 grossed $408 million. And it's a boy for Robert Downey Jr. and his wife Susan. The couple welcomed Exton Elias Downey on Tuesday morning. Exton is their first child together. Downey Jr. has an 18-year-old son from a previous marriage. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Michelle Wright.
Well, I think we escaped without much of a sign of flurries today, but what can we expect tomorrow? Danny Taborn is in now with the details. Hey, Danny.
Well, it should be a pretty quiet day full of sunshine tomorrow, Jesse, but looking towards the weekend, we could be seeing rain and snow to return. I'll have your complete forecast right after this.
I've written a song that sort of doesn't have a home.
Not every good song has been sung or published or recorded yet. I'm Michael Feinstein. Join me on a musical treasure hunt for the songs that almost got away from the trunks of some legendary songwriters. It's Lost and Found on the new season of Michael Feinstein's American Songbook.
Join WVUT-TV on Wednesday, February 15th for our live broadcast of Vincennes University Lady Blazers basketball. The Lady Blazers will host Three Rivers Community College with the tip-off at 7 p.m. Don't miss a great night of junior college basketball as the Lady Blazers entertain the Lady Raiders right here on WVUT.